So, when the first teaser for Nitish Tiwari's Ramayana dropped, wow, it was immediately clear this wasn't just another movie preview. It felt like a declaration. So let's break down what that declaration is really saying. It's like this powerful opening shot, a clear declaration of intent from Indian cinema. So what is the statement they're making? That's the big question, right? And that's what we're going to unpack here. Because this teaser, it's just layered with these really deliberate choices. And every single one adds up to a much bigger message about ambition, about vision, and maybe most importantly, about respect. Okay, so the statement really starts with just the sheer scale of it all. I mean, when you bring together a team of this caliber for a story of this magnitude, the ambition is just so obvious, isn't it? They are absolutely aiming for a global stage. Yeah, this isn't just about making a big Bollywood film. No way. This is about setting a completely new benchmark. It's about taking one of the most foundational epics in the world and presenting it on a level that can go toe-to-toe with any global blockbuster. It's basically signaling that, hey, India is here to redefine how these timeless stories are told. All right, let's talk about the visuals, because honestly, the very first frame of this teaser says pretty much everything you need to know. You see that silhouette of Lord Rama against that golden sunset? Wow, that is such a powerful, intentional choice, and it sets the entire tone for everything that follows. You can tell the emphasis here is all about subtlety. The visual language is calm, it's powerful, but it's not aggressive or over the top. You know? It feels divine precisely because it doesn't shout for your attention. It just commands it through sheer presence. And that, right there, is the essence of Rama. It's discipline and dharma, not just rage. And you can see this is a very deliberate course correction. Let's be honest. After some recent films, audiences have gotten really wary of these super VFX-heavy adaptations. So this teaser, it feels like a direct response to that. It's a really clear pivot away from that artificial overload and towards something that feels more grounded, more cinematic, and just more authentic. Okay, we got to talk about the casting, because this was a huge point of discussion. When Ranbir Kapoor was announced as Lord Rama, a lot of people were, let's just say, divided. But the teaser actually gives us a really strong clue about the director's vision here. It all comes down to one word, really: restraint. See, when you're portraying a figure like Rama, who is meant to be calm, composed, almost untouchable, any kind of overacting can just completely shatter that illusion. The real power is in what you don't show. It's all about that control. And that's exactly what we see in the teaser. It totally leans into what might be Ranbir's greatest strength as an actor: his subtlety. That stillness in his body language, the composure in his stance, it's a performance of quiet confidence, which is exactly what this role demands. So we've talked visuals, we've talked acting, but the production team itself, that is a massive statement of intent all on its own. I mean, come on, you just don't bring this level of talent together unless you are aiming for something truly, truly world-class. Let's start with the visual effects. They brought on DNEG. For those who don't know, that's the Oscar-winning team behind movies like Dune and Blade Runner 2049. That immediately tells you there's a non-negotiable commitment to quality here. This isn't just about having big ideas. It's about making sure the execution is flawless. And then there's the music. The first name is, of course, a legend in his own right. The maestro himself, A.R. Rahman. I mean, his involvement alone would be enough to guarantee an epic, soulful score. But they didn't stop there. And this is the reveal that just screams global ambition. They also brought in Hans Zimmer. Just think about that for a second. Two of the greatest living composers on the planet from two totally different worlds are collaborating on one epic score. I mean, that's not just music, that's history in the making. This pairing is completely unprecedented. Can you even imagine the kind of soundscape they're going to create for moments like Rama's exile or the final battle? The music alone could elevate this film into a legendary cinematic experience. But, okay, with all this incredible promise comes some pretty immense pressure. This project is walking a very, very thin line. When you adapt mythology, especially something as revered as the Ramayana, you're dealing with massive, massive expectations. So here's the thing. Stunning visuals and a historic score, that's not enough. Not for this. Success really comes down to these three pillars. You need strong writing. You need strong direction. And above everything else, you absolutely must have a deep, unwavering respect for the source material. And that last one is completely non-negotiable. We've all seen it happen time and time again, right? Audiences just do not forgive missteps or compromises when it comes to stories they hold this close to their hearts. You simply can't mess with the emotions and the spiritual connection people have with this epic. So, what's the final take here? Honestly, it brings us back to that one word. The teaser is promising because it shows respect. More than the huge scale, more than the actors, more than the incredible music, the single most important quality this teaser puts forward is respect. It just feels reverent. It shows an intent to honor the story. And you know what? In doing that, it wins half the battle before it even really begins. So look, this teaser has laid a foundation of immense promise. It's ambitious, it's visually stunning, and it really does seem to be crafted with care. But we all know the journey from a great teaser to a timeless masterpiece, well, that's a long one. Which leaves the big question for all of us to think about.